Hello, Stephen here, bringing you. Hello, Stephen here, bringing all of you Vapor Kings a review on the Smok TF V8. I will show you what you get in your vape box or your tobacco box, as the FDA now says, and we'll look at it. But I will vape on it, and we'll see what it's all about. We are now at the point of what is out there is all that there's going to be out, due to money in our government. So, without any further ado, I will get started. We're going to be talking about the newest from Smok, and it is Smok. It's not Smok. And there it is. The Cloud Beast TF V8. And there's a picture of some of the coils they've got. They've got the V8, the V8 6.67, which is 8 coils. They've got the V8 Q4, which is called a 5.0T, which I guess means temperature control. And that's a 4 coil. And then they have a RBA section, which is 1.8 millimeters of RBA building section for you. So it's full-sized RBA building deck for you, which I just love. I've got it on my my first RX 200 Rouleau. Now they've got the RX 200S with the bigger screen, little screen, big screen. Came out about a week after I bought this other one, and now they've got one, and I don't know I think it's got the big screen, but it's it either uses 2 batteries for 150 watts or 3 batteries like this one for 200 watts. And I've upgraded both of them to the 3.3 version firmware, and they both have TCR control in them, which makes the stainless steel work much better. The stainless steel control setting, it's still just not quite right with them. But anyway, that's a whole nother review. So I've set it in TCR, and this one I've just put in power mode, because it doesn't have, I just used the coils that came with it, and it comes with some really nice fused Clapton coils, which just the flavor is really good, and just really couldn't ask any more for the coils that are included in with the tank itself. I've took the big huge tip off, and put the 510 drip adapter, because the other one is too hot for my taste. A lot of people might like that hot vape, but I particularly don't. I guess maybe because I'm getting a little older. Maybe it's because I breathed pesticide for 40 years. Who knows? But anyway, that'll be a whole different story in a different video. To me, it is a really good tank. It is so well built. Some of them are just all the same, but the way they've hinged the, the opening for the fill port is just, it's just absolutely fantastic. That's all you got to do to open it up. It's got a little rubber gasket there, and then I found that when you put back to shut it, if you'll just push down just a little bit right before, it clicks right in, and you don't have to push so hard on it, so it's not so hard on your hinge. The gaskets are, I couldn't ask for more. They hadn't leaked a drop. You have to make sure it's wicked right, like most RBAs of this size. It needs to be wicked between half way down and all the way down to the bottom of the deck. This one I've got about 3/4 of the way down, and they'll kind of stretch after a while, but make sure you've got enough cotton packed up in there or it will leak. These are really not the kind of tanks that you want to just take with you and throw in the seat of your truck. You want to leave it standing, as far as I'm concerned. Let me have a vape on it now. They kind of have to get warmed up a little bit. Of course, I'm only pushing it at 70 watts. And this one's coming out at 0.4 ohms. 0.40 ohms. And tastes great. It just has to get a little bit of excuse me here. Sorry about that. Anyway, it has to get fired up, heated up a little bit. Unless you want to really kick it up to, it'll do 140, 150 watts without really burning it if you don't just hammer on it. And at that power rating, it gets hot. So, now the bigger coils don't get quite so hot, but boy, they love the juice. They all love the juice. These are juice lovers, and they're not so bad on power if you put them in temperature control, because they ramp up and then they stay at that temperature, somewhere in that range of temperature. But it doesn't take near as much wattage to keep it at that temperature. And I like it that when I'm vaping at a high watt. I won't vape at anything above 50 on nickel, any kind of nickel wire or titanium. I just don't want it really hot because of the titanium and the nickel oxide, which is highly dangerous, and we know that for a fact. So I'd say let's not push it, folks. But stainless steel, we're coming a long way, and we've made a lot of strides. We as an industry, and all the geniuses that have figured that out. And as far as taste, the Smok V8 TF V8 is you couldn't ask for much more. Now I've got all the Smok tanks. I've got, well, most of them. I've got the last three. I've got the TF RTA. I bought it. Bought it on sale and really like it, and have the G2 deck in it because I really don't need 4 coils personally, and I bought it, and I'll be reviewing it too. and I've got the Smok TFR which has a deeper, if you can see it, it has a deeper channel in it. That's the only difference. And then is that one has a lower deck cover, I guess, or juice well, and the other one has a little bit longer of a chimney on it. So that's about the only difference with this. And this one has got a pretty short chimney and a great big build deck. So this one is just almost exactly like when you have the RDA section. It's almost exactly like the RDTA. So anyway, they came out with one back to back to back to back, and I understand why they did that. So as far as flavor, it is just wonderful. For such a high, I mean, they say you can go. They've got 4 coils available for this right now. The RBA deck, and the Clapton coil that comes with it. It's supposed to come in at 0.28. Mine's 0.40, and it says it will fire from 50 to 140 watts. You got the V8 Q4, which is 0.15 ohms, and it fires from 50 to 180 watts. You got the T6, which is 0.2 ohms, and that's 50 to 180 watts, and it's best at, they say, 110 to 150 watts. You got the V8 T8, and that's 8 coils, folks, and that's 0.15 ohms, and that will fire between 50 and 260 watts. They say it's best at 120 to 180 watts. Mine came with the V8 T8 installed, and I put the 18 millimeter RBA section in it, just to get an idea on how it is with the RBA section, because those are my favorite tanks, are the rebuildable ones. And I'll tell you why, because with all the vaping laws going on right now and everything that's happening in our industry, I'm stocked up on wire. I know vaping's not going to just quit, but it is going to create a real price demand. And being on a fixed income, I'm not going to, pay $200 for $300 for a tank, or $50 for a coil, or whatever craziness may happen. And we also have monetary issues. I know this is long and drawn out, and I originally was going to start doing this video channel back in 2012. My house burned down one time, and the Bastrop Lost Pines wildfire of 2011, and we got back on our feet. And in 2014 or 2015, last year, 3 years to the date almost, in October, we had another wildfire out here and completely burned down everything. Truck, house, everything. So we finally got another house up, and I'm still trying to get some place to do my videos. So there was just a lot of things going on that took place of me doing that. And anyway, that's just a little bit about me. I want to vape a little bit more. It's got some good flavor. I'm not one for the biggest cloud chucker, and I've got them all. I've got a bunch of tanks. I've got the Tornado, and oh boy, I've just got a lot of tanks for, you know, just a person buying stuff. You know, there's a lot of people that have one or two. I've got probably, I think I've got, oh, I don't know, 14 or 15 mods, and have bought them all, and somewhere around 25, 30 tanks. I like tanks the most, but I've got about 10, 15 RBAs too. So anyway, I like the tanks the best. I like the ones like this that, you know, I can sit around and have a sit down vape. And then I like my tanks like my good old Kanger here in my K box, that has really been through it. And you know, I've put my rebuildable section on this. Every tank I've got is rebuildable. I have rebuildable sections even for my Aspire tank, my Atlantis, and my Super tank. So anyway, back to the Smok T8 V8 or TF V8. Is that right? V8 T8. Okay. V8, like an engine. And that's what they're calling these, is engines. They're calling these what do they call these? They're calling these hyper engines. These are not coils now. Smok has decided that in the V8s, the kit includes 3 hyper engines, which I explained to you: the V8 T8, the V8 Q4, and the V8 RBA, and of course the V8 T6 also. They didn't have that one listed because it didn't come in the box. So there's a picture of that, and there's the box. You get with it just all kinds of goodies. I'm going to kind of do it. I don't have a desk set up, so this is kind of hard, but it's got a nice box. It's got your instruction manual. Tells you everything to do, not to do, how to rebuild the deck, how to rebuild how to fill it, how to replace everything. It's got, there's the big drip tip, which is pretty big. I kind of like it reduced down a little bit because it's not nearly as hot. And I run this one wide open for the airflow. That's why it kind of takes a minute to heat up. Anyway, sorry about that. Okay, but that's the one with the big, I think it's an 18 millimeter drip tip, and that comes on it. This one's another one I had, and it fit, the color just fit perfect, and it was about the right length, so I put that on there. Okay, and we also have, pull this little piece out. Of course, we've got our little absorbency stuff so everything doesn't get wet in there and rust. Stainless steel. There's the V8 coil. It's 4 dual coil verticals, and also got this one, which is um, it looks like 2 vertical coils. I don't know, it might be 4. It's hard to tell. Bounced in all that cotton. But this one is the, I can barely read it, folks. Yeah, anyway, it's got two extra coils, which one is the RBA. It's got an extra glass, and of course you've got everything except a screwdriver. You don't need a screwdriver for this, but it does come with another handy little Allen wrench. It comes with some organic cotton. It comes with a whole pack of different, a whole bag full of different gaskets. It's got grub replacement grub nuts in there, and some more do not eat stuff that keeps everything nice and dry. Some silica package, some silica gel, and it also has another gasket that goes on the inside on your fill port. So I hope I've explained everything to you. With as many different tanks as we've got out there, and some really good one, and our industry is really right at the brink of discovery. I mean, we're really starting to come out with some really good products as an industry, and it just had to be that, since there's so much money starting to come into it, that the government will get their hands involved in it, of course. But it's totally ridiculous what they're doing, and hopefully they will change the date that things come out, because 2007, okay, we've got a couple of years, but if everybody doesn't apply, and all the Chinese manufacturers are not going to apply for patents and all this stuff just to keep this stuff on the market for the U.S. market, they're going to find a way around all this stuff. What it's going to do is create a huge black market, which is also going to jack the prices up. Anyway, that's just my opinion. We'll see what happens. But I wanted to say that the flavor on this tank is it's really good. One of my other favorite tanks for flavor is the Belarus, and it is a 22-inch tank, but it's so quiet, and it's not a power or juice hog, but it gives up an excellent bake, and it is very close on par to the Smok is, this T8 V8 T8. And you can taste everything. I really would try to encourage y'all to, when you're out in public, please don't blow big clouds. I know you like doing that, and I know a lot, especially the younger set. Try to take something that's not great big and bulky, and makes you be seen, causes a big cloud of vape that it just makes it makes us all look bad. And right now we all need to look like responsible people that we are, and it just doesn't look healthy. It looks to me, and because I'm a vapor and I've been vaping for 8 years, but it looks like if what would happen if you just smoked the entire cigarette in one drag, just a huge cloud. I mean, some of them are huge clouds. Do that at the cloud competitions and blow a cloud that'll, mimic a freight train, a steam engine. Um, but anyway, I wanted to throw that in there too. There's a lot I can throw in. I know this video is rambling on, but I give my 100% approval of this tank, and I'm not getting paid for it. I buy most everything I get, and Smok has this is the first time that I've been given anything to review, and that's what started me up. Actually, it's a tester, and it's really just a good tank. The refillable or the replacement, what do they call these again? Engines, the hyper engines, especially the T8 and the Q4. The T8s are anywhere between $13 and $24 for 3. Of course, you're only using one at a time, so it's not too bad, but that's still pretty pricey. But I think it might come down. I really don't know what price points are gonna do. I really don't. But I do know that if you stock up on the wire and get you some good RBAs and good tanks and lots of cotton, and if you're a do-it-yourself juice mixer, which I've always been, and I've been a mixologist for a company in California, which I'm not going to mention right now, but that's the only time I've vaped throughout the 8 years that I've been vaping. Premium, as they call it, juices. And I prefer my own mixes very much. Anyway, I hope I've went over everything. I didn't take it apart for you, but the threads are they're very smooth. It was very clean. Of course, I washed it out, but there wasn't a bit of oil on it from machining. It was very clean, and it went on so smooth and didn't drip a drop. And the only time it does drip is when I have the RBA section in there and lean it over for too long, sitting there talking and lean it over to the side. It doesn't leak if you just take it up and take a pull, but it will leak if you just hang it out on your hand on the side. Anyway, I want to thank y'all for listening to my video review of the Smok. I keep saying Smok, the Cloud Beast, the TF V8, because it's a doozy, and you won't go wrong, I promise you. From Texas Vapor King, Steve Vapor Kings, to the Vapor Kings out there. From Steve to all the Vapor Kings out there. Have a good day, y'all.